It's the first time we've met since last year. I'm Mike Beaton, and I'd like to welcome all of you to the new calendar year. It's 2026. But here in the NBL, it's all about the battle for playoff seeding. We've got the Minnesota Broncos and the Michigan Avengers. Michigan, one of the top teams in the NBL, coming in with a 9-0 record. Their most recent game, a victory over the defending champion, the Chicago Legends, and the Broncos looking to bounce back after that brutal, heartbreaking loss to the Bulldogs 2 weeks ago. The Broncos will start Jose Garcia, George Alhaig, Isaiah Hayes, Decoy Hines, and Matthew Hoffrening. The Avengers will start Michael Jackson, Ryan Aaron, Xavion Goodwin, Rashard Harris, and Justin McKinney. Michigan, one reason for their success, a strong offense and defense. But you know this, basketball a two-way game. And if you want to succeed, you have to take care of both sides of the ball. The Broncos, we are seeing their chemistry come into form as the tip is completed. Broncos wearing the orange kits today. And they'll start Jose Garcia missing the three. But their chemistry is coming together. Here come the Avengers on the fast break. Rashard Harris with the layup. The key for the Broncos, their ability to finish games. 6-4, but 3 of those losses came against the Bulldogs. 2 of those games, as Alhaig misses on the drive. Here come the Avengers. Extra pass. The no-look sidearm to Harris. And the Avengers off to a 4-0 start. To finish up on the Broncos, 6-4, 3 of those losses to the Bulldogs. Shot clock did not reset properly, so they will get that in order. Or at least try to. Working on the clock here, just underway. And now the game clock is ticking away. This is the first time we've run into clock issues. This also has come up from time to time in our high school coverage, either on the TSB Television YouTube channel or through my work with other stations like NSPN. So a few seconds ticked off, but it looks like we'll let that slide. This is a fast-moving game, though. Broncos couldn't get the 3, but the offensive rebound gives them another chance. That's Armonte Henry. The side fade, looking for the 3. That drifts to the right. Avengers flooring it one more time. 3 transition buckets for the Avengers. They are assembling a mighty start to their offense. 6-0, but long way to go. We've seen the Broncos work their way through deficits. Matthew Hoffrening drains the hook. He is one of the anchors of the paint for the Broncos in orange. Foul, and that will send Ryan Aaron to the line. The Avengers and Bulldogs, 2 of the undefeated teams. Only one at least will remain that way. It's possible both could end up taking a loss. We have to see what happens with this game, and then the Bulldogs will play the Avengers tomorrow. You'll see the 2 games a little later than that on the TSB Television YouTube channel, but still a big game nonetheless. Ryan Aaron gets the front end to drop. The Avengers, 100 or more in all but one of their games this season. A lot of their games, runaway wins. They have a high-octane offensive attack. And this is our first chance to see it in action. But for the Broncos, a couple of times they had 20-point leads against the Bulldogs. Hoffrening drains the 3 from the wing, but the Broncos couldn't sustain it. So the Broncos, even though they're 6-4, they could have the makings of a sleeper team if they can get through into the postseason. Outlet pass a little too long, and the Broncos turn it over. Just underway in the first quarter. The scoreboard has the second quarter. No DJ tonight. We understand had some car trouble. So the only sound you will hear is that on the court and of my voice. You've been warned. Jackson, doubled up. Bounces over to Aaron. Broncos overloading. That leaves an open three from the wing. It's long as the shot clock was winding down. Hoffrening with the board. Henry thought about a three, didn't like his look. Here comes Alhaig. He came up clutch in the last meeting with the Bulldogs. He gets on the board. Shot clock did not reset properly. That is not a violation. Obviously, 24 seconds hadn't gone off the clock. Harris, the skip, and Aaron with the finish. Ryan Aaron with 6 points in the early going. It's 10-7. Broncos take a timeout with 8:25 left in the first quarter. 10-7. Avengers over Broncos. Broncos looking for the statement win. The Avengers trying to keep pace with the Bulldogs. The Avengers located in a separate division from the Broncos and Bulldogs. And we can give you a glimpse of the standings as of this taping. Michigan in the Central Division, 9-0. They have a 2-game lead over Strictly Business, who we will see in the regular season finale of our NBL coverage on TSB television. And in the Midwest Division, the Bulldogs all by themselves at 11-0. Based on the loss column, they have a 2-game lead over the Fusion and a 3-game lead over their closest rival in all likelihood. Corner 3 doesn't go down for the Broncos. Rebound, it's Hoffrening and the foul. Matthew Hoffrening, Mr. Clutch in the early going for the Broncos. But I was told with the number of games remaining this season, if the Bulldogs can win any of their remaining games, whether it's tomorrow or even in the regular season finale with Strictly Business, at any point, one more win and they've secured the division. That's if the Legends do not win out. Hoffrening wins out that 3-point play, and it should be 10-10. They've got it as 10-9. Great set for the Avengers. I don't think there was a single dribble. And it will lead to a 3-point play chance for Ryan Aaron. Broncos are saying we've got 10. I've got 10 on my score sheet. It should be 12-10. We'll have a 3-point play chance for Aaron, but they left a point off the board. You may recall in the second meeting with the Broncos and Bulldogs, there were some points added erroneously. The score is corrected. And if you're wondering, this has happened at the high school level as well. Ryan Aaron completes the 3-point play, where points have been added and subtracted erroneously. So this is not just an NBL thing. I've seen it happen at the high school level too. One reason I'm adamant about it, I like to make sure every game is played fairly, and I'm guessing these two feel the same way. Catch and shoot 3 goes down. for Michael Jackson. 16-10. And the Avengers putting up some big numbers in the early going. Henry. Out of the key. Used up his dribble. Alhay. Around that zone. Buries the three. Broncos got back down. Avengers lost track. There was a lot of shouting, and I think the Avengers were caught flat-footed for a brief moment. In any event, it's a free ball for the Broncos. That last game against the Bulldogs we had for you, Broncos were left a little salty. There were a couple of calls at the end where I felt they had a case. As you know, I don't root for any one team over another. I just say what I see. Alhay lost it on the dribble. That will lead to a three-point play opportunity for Xavion Goodwin, who sprinted to the cup at warp speed. Blinking, you'll miss something. Goodwin with his first bucket. And the Avengers off to a 4-for-4 start at the free throw line. How many times have I told you how much free throws can matter, regardless of the score? Henry looking for a driving lane, doesn't see one. Gives it to Rashad Rainey. He is another scoring presence for the Broncos. His three is short. Tried to track his own miss, couldn't quite do it. Jackson. Almost skipping while he was dribbling, but there's no rule on skipping as long as you don't travel and keep the ball under your palm. Three offline from the Avengers. Here come the Broncos. They don't have the space. They'll run a set, driving kick, three ball, corner pocket. That's Rashad Rainey. Broncos called for a foul as Justin McKinney was handling the ball. Interception for the Broncos. It's Rainey. Hit the three, got the steal. Now Henry pinched off along the baseline. Finds Rainey in a tight spot. Broncos swing it around. Another corner three. Not there. Henry blocked by Jackson. A bang stop, but the Broncos force another steal. Whose ball is it? Well, it's not my ball. It's Broncos ball. That's what I thought. I didn't see a decisive signal from here. .5:16 left in the first quarter. Catch and shoot three. Long. Rebound. McKinney. Here's Jamal Edwards. Michigan, they've got a sizable rotation available tonight. They have the tougher road. Of course, the Broncos and Bulldogs have to go through the same weekend road obstacle that the Avengers do as they look for the corner three. It's short. Edwards got to the ball, but he stepped on the sideline before touching it, and that's why it will be a dead ball rebound to the Broncos. Again, you have to stay in the field of play when you field the ball. And that's not a knock on Edwards, just a reminder. Henry. Extra pass to Alhay, who gets the finger roll to drop. The assist by Eric Chu. Chu and Rogers like to think of themselves as the defensive foundation. McKinney, 3-ball corner pocket. All 5 starters for the Avengers have scored. 4 minutes to go in the first. 22-18. Rainey to a cutting Alhag and one. George Alhag, 9 points. You may recall against the Bulldogs, I couldn't make out the number initially, so I thought it was Ochan, but Alhag had 3 straight scores off of 3 straight steals. No 3-point play. As the Broncos, I thought, had the upper hand. They led by 13 with about 4 minutes to go over the Bulldogs before the other Minnesota team made a furious rally. It was an epic, improbable comeback. Again, a couple of the calls I'm not sure I would have made, but I'm up here. Rainey puts a spin move on his defender, runs into a wall and draws the foul. With 3.5 minutes to go, both teams out of fouls to give. And they will give Rainey the shooting motion. Busy weekend here in downtown St. Paul, of course, all throughout the week. The Junior Hockey Championships taking place at Grand Casino Arena. And we are in the final month of the NBL regular season. We had an extended break between November and December. A couple of teams had to call off games. Rainey missing the front end. We had a chance to get to know Rashad Rainey earlier this season. (22-21). Foul on the Broncos, and again, both teams out of fouls to give for the quarter. Edwards at the line. Gets on the board. Edwards makes both free throws and hurries back on defense. That's what you call an attentive player. 24-21. Avengers still perfect from the line. 6 of 6. Hoffrenning. Late whistle after the ball was pried from his grip, so he'll go to the line to shoot 2 with 2:59 left in the first. No, he won't. I stand corrected. The foul tally has the Avengers at 3. So it should be 4. Last time I looked at the board. 5 to shoot, pass tipped. Shot clock did reset. And a push foul called on Rainey. Who is a little steamed about it. Seemingly perplexed. So 2 more free throws for Jamal Edwards, who made his last 2. And again, a lot of the players you'll see in this league had high school, college backgrounds, some playing professionally in the overseas circuit. First miss for the Avengers, but they do lead 26-21 after that trip. Of course, it's way too early to make any proclamation about who might win this game. Here's Johanna Ochan. He is another player who can score in bursts. Hoffredding. Underneath again. Hoffredding with 10 now. Jackson was looking for the kick out. Rogers, full speed. Too strong. Avengers have the bucket open all to themselves. Rashard Zimmerman with his first field goal. Avengers spreading it around. Everyone who has seen floor time has scored. 3 ball for Rogers, bullseye. Drew Moreland with the dime. Hoffredding, takeaway. Look out. Offensive foul. Hoffredding thinks otherwise. Abe, he saw it, and I saw the same thing. I think he led with the elbow just a little bit, just enough. That's the chess match that occurs when you have a slasher going up against a defense, whether it's in transition or a set. Jackson for 3, short. Hoffredding boxes out. This time he'll bounce it to Rogers for 3, short. Rebound Ochan. Can't get the bank, and a dead ball rebound to the Avengers with 1:14 left in the first. 28-26. Some interesting trends emerging in this one. Of course, the Broncos have the deeper roster, being the home team. But only 4 players have scored for the Broncos. Everyone who has played for the Avengers so far has scored. And now Tyron Jackson can add his name to that list. After everyone. Now this is interesting. Jackson, you don't see this often. Jackson is a foot away, maybe a foot and a half from the free throw line. That's allowed. You can't be in front, obviously, but there's no rule about setting up behind the line. You don't see that often. A lot of players will go right to that 15-foot marker. No look pass. We're seeing the passing game flourish today, and Darian Thomas flourishes down low on the putback. Thomas helps sweep up the floor beforehand. Rogers comes out. Bounce pass to an open Avengers player. That's Harris. Broncos putting in 13 already. 16 seconds. Shot clock off. 4-point game. Moreland doubled. Finds help. Thomas launches. Short. Garcia. Fadeaway. Rejected by Jackson. The Broncos should have some time. Michael Wright, who was the Bulldogs owner, was yelling 2.5, and the officials went to the scores table and said 2 seconds. So enough time for a catch, a dribble, and a shot. Ochan, yes! 2 seconds, more than enough. Ochan beats the buzzer, and after a frenetic first quarter, it's 32-30. The Avengers lead the Broncos, but I think we're seeing two high-caliber teams give it their all. Second quarter coming up.
It's more than just BBQ, it's family time. Ella's Smoke Till Ya Choke. Perfect for your Saturday.
Mic'd Up Sports is TSB Television's talk show series. Available on all major podcast platforms, we offer sports figures, past and present, a place to convey stories and adventures on a deeper level than our traditional game coverage. Whether you're a superstar athlete or someone who works behind the scenes, we'd be honored to share your story. If you'd like to be a guest, contact us at The Mike Peden on all major social platforms.
Second quarter ready to go. 32-30. Avengers over Broncos. First quarter notables: Ryan Aaron, 9 points to lead the Avengers. Rashard Harris with 6. On the Broncos side, Hoffrenning has 10. Al Haig with 9. Rainey with 4. Rogers 3. Ochan with that buzzer beater got on the board. Everyone who has played for the Avengers has scored. The Broncos, they've played 13 guys. Hoffrenning and Al Haig, two of the big names coming up. Alley-oop time. Caught out of position. That allowed Thomas time to get in there for the block. It will stay Avengers ball, but that last second disruption forced Goodwin to make the catch coming down, so he couldn't throw it down. In turn, that allowed Thomas to get to him. Avengers tried the 3, and Tyrone Jackson sinks it. Tyron, I should say. It reads like Tyrone, but it's Tyron. And that is Moreland, who slithers his way through the lane. He's on the board. Avengers undefeated. Broncos looking to pick up a statement win. Remember, they're still fighting for playoff seeding. 3 ball. Corner pocket. It's Rashard Zimmerman. And another quick start for the Avengers. In the first game of the calendar year, foul, and Henry with a bailout of sorts because he was perilously close to the timeline. Broncos at 6-4. They sit a game behind the Legends. I don't think the Legends are scheduled to play this season. Ochan, spin move. A little too strong. Rebound, Goodwin. Avengers was looking for the corner 3, but Ochan reached his hand out for the deflection. That led to a steal for Hines. Top for the Broncos. Hines into the lane, the kick out. Moreland open. 3 goes off the heel. Harris snaking the rebound. A little bit of contact we play on. This is McQuell Jackson. Tries to zip it down court. Deflected by the Broncos. Who will take a timeout with 10:06 left in the second. Broncos at 6-4. Again, they're a game behind the Legends. And I don't think they are scheduled to play each other. The other loss, okay, they are, January 17th. The Legends aren't scheduled to come here. That's what I was looking at. But they have just a couple of games left. Look at that ball movement from the Avengers. I'm having a hard time keeping up. Harris goes up to 8. So the Broncos will have a chance to get one back on strictly business and then a big one with the Legends that could determine seeding. Straightaway 3 off the mark. Rebound, Tyron Jackson. Once again, ball movement will lead to free throws. And more often than not for the Avengers, what I've seen from them, this is the first time I've seen them all year because I don't cover the road games. But the Avengers, one reason I think they've succeeded as much as they have, the ball movement. More often than not, they pass with intent. They're familiar with their surroundings, their spacing. They don't make a lot of silly mistakes. At least not in long stretches. Jackson knocks down the free throws, and that is another attribute worth highlighting at least tonight. 11 of 12. That will win you a lot of games. 42-32, largest lead of the game for the Avengers. 3, I think. Aaron got a piece of it. Here he is leading the fast break. Draws the foul as he takes a spill on the hardwood. So he'll shoot 2. Aaron had 9 points in the first quarter. Avengers, their most recent game, an 8-point win over the Chicago Legends. They will play the Grand Rapids Fusion after this Minnesota trip. But the Avengers looking like a team to beat when we get to the playoffs. Regular season will end at the conclusion of January. Rashad Rainey shrugging off a man in his face to hit the step-back 3. And a much-needed bucket for the Broncos, 44-35. The Avengers now 13 of 14 in free throws. That was the first dribble of this set. Well, that's what I was talking about. The Avengers have had some snafus from time to time. Ooh, Chu lost control of it and threw it away. Pass was a little low. Typically, you don't want your teammates to have to reach to make the catch. The dish from Rainey a little low, and maybe that affected the cadence. Here's a corner three. Nothing but the bottom of the net for Xavion Goodwin. And just like the first quarter, we're seeing the Avengers spread the offense around. Everyone getting a chance to do their part. Rainey to Hoffrening. Lots of defense up top from the Avengers. Hoffrening reaches through for the finger roll. Hoffrening with a dozen. Maybe I jinxed the Avengers. I was praising their passing ability. That time Goodwin had a hard time making the catch. Unforced turnover. It will stay with the Broncos. The Avengers will take a timeout, but as I was saying, I was talking about the passing ability, the acumen of the Avengers, and then a couple of sloppy ones, but basketball goes like that sometimes. The way the Avengers have played, though, as I'm looking at the standings with just a few games to go, the Avengers have a 2-game lead over Strictly Business, who they beat earlier in the season. So they'll hold the head-to-head record. That effectively makes it a 3-game lead. They're supposed to end the regular season against Canada. I don't know if that will still occur. Canada was supposed to come here next Saturday, but that has not been the case. Or that turned out not to be the case. Admittedly, I'm not fully versed in NBL world, but the Avengers just need to win 2 more games to secure the division. Hoffrening, another finger roll off the turnaround. Hoffrening flexing his short-range game. 47-39. Avengers go back out. Rainey lays off McKinney to avoid the foul. Backdoor alley-oop. Comes up empty. Goodwin was left alone. That's a bucket you really want to have if you're the Avengers. Rainey turns around, shrugs off the bump, and banks it in anyway. Rainey with 9. He is looking splashy, flashy, spry. Catch and shoot 3 short. Broncos will pick it up. Hoffrening, I thought was going to let it go, decided I'll get the rebound. Rainey fakes. Goes to the high post. Now back out to the wing, where the Broncos subsequently turned it over. The Avengers getting their hand in the cookie jar. We're seeing a good dose of strategy. Here's Goodwin. No, that's Aaron. I stand corrected. Still getting all the Avengers names and numbers down. It will stay with the Avengers. 11 seconds on the shot clock. Three ball. Off the heel. Rogers got a step. Alhag had it deflected. It will stay with the Broncos. Hoffrening into a jam found Alhaig. 3 comes off the front iron. That's Goodwin. Hacked. Scores anyway. Aaron hooks him up. Goodwin up to 9 points with that 3-point play. 14 of 15. And if Michigan is shooting like this, the Bulldogs will be in for a test tomorrow. That's a foul away from the ball. It's on the Avengers, who lead 50-41 with 5:16 remaining. Hoffrening over to Rogers. He backs away. Hoffrening again. Fouled just as Jackson ripped the ball from his hands. He made a little too much contact. Tough break for the Avengers. And a reprieve for the Broncos. The shot clock was down to 3 seconds. Of course, it resets to 14, but they won't wait that long. Rogers misses the 3. Jackson. Draws the foul. Both teams with 1 to give. 5:04 remaining in the second. Catch and shoot 3. Avengers love to run the 3 ball and the transition game. Hoffrening completes the transition play on the Broncos side and was able to bait the Avengers just enough to make it look like he might kick out to the corner. That freed up an opening in the lane. We have a foul on the Avengers. It's on McKinney. Offensive foul, and the Broncos get the ball back. But not for long. So the Avengers will get to inbound in the front court. It will be underneath the basket. The officials are talking it over. And that is where the inbound spot is if the other team cannot secure possession off an inbound, but it doesn't matter. Rainey, 3 rattles out as this hot potato game ensues. Another steal for Rainey. He wants to take it all the way, but he's too strong. The Broncos are starting to lock down defensively. They'd like to translate it into some offense. Hoffrening squares up. Loose ball. Hoffrening scoops it up. The defensive intensity ratcheting up for the Broncos. Alhaig with his first score of the second. Broncos giving the Avengers a battle in this first half. Backdoor, Aaron foul, they'll shoot 2. Aaron with 11 points. make it 13. And the Avengers, 16 of 17. They are putting on a clinic. Reminds me of that Providence-Eastview game I called in late November when Eastview was money at the free throw line. Handoff, and a layup for Eric Chu. Al Haig with the assist. Chu with his first field goal. 52-47, the Broncos hanging tough. 15-footer, long. And squeaking through for the rebound and the putback is Rashard Harris. Aaron follows that up with the takeaway. Broncos overloading up top. Underneath. Harris fouled. He'll shoot 2 more. He has 10 points. This will be his first trip to the line. 16 of 17. And Ryan Aaron responsible for a few of those. I'm looking up and down. Tyron Jackson hitting all of his free throws as well. Edwards, the only player on the Michigan side to record a miss at the line. We got to wipe up a wet spot with 2:40 left in the second. One thing without the background music, you are hearing a lot more chatter between the coaches and the players. Harris completes his trip. 55-47, unofficially. The Avengers, whoa! Avengers looking to go transition again. Rainey called for the foul as the official points to him. He wants to review it. I wish we could. I don't think we can review fouls. We would need a truck or a mobile platform. Ryan Aaron continuing his assault at the free throw line. He has yet to miss. And he's up to 15 points, 59-47, largest lead of the game. For the Broncos, Rainey buries another 3. His second. We've seen this happen a couple of times. The baseline jumper doesn't go down for Jackson, but when the Avengers build a sizable lead, Broncos have been able to reel them in. They'll have a 2-on-2 here. The reverse goes down for Ryan Aaron. 17 for number 6. Rainey thinking about it. Baseline J, I think he tried to draw the foul. Takes a tumble. Avengers will bring it the other way. 15-footer goes down for McKinney. Needed the friendly bounce, but it still counts. 63-50. Oh my! Henry wasn't aware of it. Another transition opportunity. Nope. Avengers will take the open 3 instead. That's offline. That was Nigel Ward. Under a minute to go. Rainey. Jackson on him. He gets through Jackson, but can't lay it in. Aaron to Harris, back to Aaron. A foul on the second try. Oh, goaltending, that's what it was. Not a foul, it was a goaltend. Who gets credit for that? 65-50, largest lead of the game for the Avengers. Quietly building it with all those free throws, and then a couple more transition plays. Moreland tried to work off the screen, but it was set illegally. And now the Broncos cough it up again. The foul is on Enoch Nyakongo. Three on the way for the Avengers. Short. Battle for the rebound. The clock is still running. They got to put at least a couple seconds back on it. Official saying 6 seconds. I feel like they can't put it back on. So just 4 point. Well, now what? What in the world? They're going to count it? I think the last time I heard that sound was when I was getting arrested. Clock has been reset to 6 seconds. I think you could have put 6.5 at least from what I spotted the clock. So it's 65-50. That last bucket doesn't count. Nyakongo gets the stop. Henry, almost. That was the strangest ending to a half that I have seen in a good while. But Michigan does lead the Minnesota Broncos 65-50. As we've said, though, the Broncos have pulled off a couple of comebacks before. So we'll have to see what happens in the second half. Michigan looking to maintain their undefeated mark. Heading into a big game with the Bulldogs tomorrow. Broncos looking for that upset win. Second half coming up. This is NBL basketball on TSB television.
It's more than just BBQ, it's family time. Ella's Smoke Till Ya Choke. Perfect for your Saturday.
Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting, and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves.
Holloman, good if it goes. Yes!
Game winners.
From James. She's in trouble. Finds James. Toss shot! It goes in!
And everything in between. Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. That put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching.
Second half about to start at the St. Paul Salvation Army Citadel. Citadel Core is the official name of this building, but the Salvation Army Gym host to lots of basketball over the years. Right now, it's host to the Michigan Avengers and the Minnesota Broncos, with the Avengers leading 65-50. First half numbers, unofficially, Ryan Aaron leads the Avengers with 17 points, Rashard Harris with 13, Xavier Goodwin with 9, the Avengers 19 of 21 from the free throw line, a big reason they're up by 15. The Broncos, led by Matthew Hoffrenning, 16 points, Rashad Rainey with 12, George Alhaig with 11. And that's where most of the scoring has come from. We haven't seen much out of Garcia. Rogers, Chu, Ochan, and Moreland all have a bucket. So does Thomas. And the Broncos just 2 of 4 at the free throw line. The Avengers, while they had some slip-ups with their passing in the second quarter, combining that transition game with a strong three-point game in the first half, and they've got a whole lot of points as a result. Of course, for them, this is a prelude to their match with the Bulldogs in a battle of undefeated teams. But based on the first half, I think it's safe to say they haven't overlooked this one. And remember, every game matters for a division leader. The Avengers leading the Central Division. And 2 more wins would clinch them to division based on my understanding. So they have a lot to play for. 3 is off the mark from Jackson. Let's see what the Broncos do. They've got Rogers out there. Hoffrenning. He can't hit the 3. And McKinney there to corral the board. We've talked about the lack of background music, no DJ tonight, and the Avengers still making plenty of noise, though. Ryan Aaron snatches it away from Hoffrenning and lays it in. Rogers, extra pass. That's how you do it. Pass up a good look for an even better look. That reminds me of a Paige Beckers highlight many years ago that I covered when she was at Hopkins. 3 on the way for the Avengers. Splash. Xavier Goodwin goes up to 12. Garcia launches. Can't connect. Rogers. Rebound. Now Alhaig wants the 3. Sinks it. Alhaig with 16. And something is up with Ryan Aaron. He'll take a seat on the bench for the moment. As I was going to say, the lack of a DJ has been a little easier on my voice because I don't feel like I have to shout over the background music. But the Avengers making lots of music so far. Hoffrenning, transition 3, short. Rebound, Jackson. Tyron Jackson, that is. There are 2 of them, Tyron and Michael. I don't know if they're related, but I do have to make a distinction. They go to the corner. Knocking down another 3 is Goodwin. Abe is getting into it. And Xavier Goodwin up to 15 points. Garcia fakes, pulls up for the long 2. Swish. And after a scoreless first half, he's on the board. Bounce pass. Rogers got in the lane but can't secure the steal. 3 on the way. Goodwin comes up short. Alhag lobs it to Hoffrenning. He's got one-on-one, tries the post up and met the backboard. And the clock is running again. Now they get it to stop. We've had some adventures with the clock. The ball ricocheted off Hoffrenning's leg, so the Broncos able to pick it up as it's not a kick ball. Ochan fouled. He'll shoot two. Ochan just a couple of points in this one. Again, the Broncos do have a meeting with the Chicago Legends later this month during the MLK weekend. It's a road game, so we'll have to wait for the score. But the Broncos still playing for postseason seeding. And like we said, 3 of their losses came to the Bulldogs, the other strictly business. Baseline run to the rim, comes up empty for Goodwin. 73-58. Ochan can't throw down the alley-oop for the Broncos. Michigan will try again, pass long. And I heard somebody yell, "Get the 2 points," or something to that effect. Again, this game not out of reach. Oh, that was a soft lob. And Jackson Michael picks up on it. He sinks a transition 3. You don't see that often, a steal and a triple, but that's where the modern game is now. Lots of 3-point shooting. Hoffrenning trying to zip it to Alhag underneath. Instead, the Avengers throw it down. Tyron Jackson fires up the crowd. Not many Michigan fans here. That is to be expected. In the first weekend of the calendar year, Broncos take a timeout, 78-58, 7:19 left in the second. Again, for the Avengers, they're just a couple wins away from clinching the Central Division. Bulldogs and Broncos in the Midwest Division, and the Bulldogs can lock in the division as soon as tomorrow if they get a win. And that is one perk of building an undefeated record. You've got some distance against your division rivals, and you bank a lot of victories. That affords you a few tiebreakers. The Broncos will have a chance to own a tiebreaker with the Legends. Michael Jackson, another act of thievery, another look from 3, this one short, but a rebound. Laser skip, slightly bobbled. They'll go back out to Michael Jackson. He'll try again, short again. Darian Thomas leaping up for the rebound. Didn't realize McKinney was there. Another O-board, Thomas fouling Harris. A tough sequence of events for the Broncos. And Harris, who has 13 points unofficially, will shoot 2. He is one of just 2 players, one of just 2 misses at the free throw line, I should say. Broncos, I think they knew this would be a tough battle, a chance to make a statement and another barometer opportunity. We do have some members of the Bulldogs watching, knowing they will get this team tomorrow on a quick turnaround. Rebound. And our first traveling call of the game. Michigan still shooting well from the free throw line, 20 of 23, far outpacing the Broncos, 3 of 6. Here's Rainey. Into the lane. The runner offline, but he was hacked. So Rashad will shoot 2. With 6:33 to go in the third. With the smaller crowd, it is amusing and enlightening to hear some of the chatter that takes place between the benches, the players, and some of the spectators even. Rainey missing the front end. Abe is saying it's kind of like high school. Well, in high school, they typically don't have a lot of music blaring, even at the college level, as the Avengers throw it away, almost into the recycling bin. (79-59), Avengers up by 20. Alhaig to Rogers, 3 ball, off the front iron. Goodwin got a little too cute. Then Chu stopped in his tracks. I'm not sure why. So that's going to work out after all for the Avengers. Tyron Jackson was already in position. Now he brings a little defensive pressure to Rainey. He gets across the timeline, draws the foul on Tyron Jackson. But on that last possession, I'm not sure why Chu made a dead stop just past midcourt. Felt like he could have run it up, run a set. Of course, I'm up here, not on the floor. Rainey, swatted away by McKinney. Henry follows and will shoot 2. Last foul to give for the Avengers, but they have taken command of this game, leading 81-59. And the Broncos, we haven't seen them play from behind in some time. As I noted before, even with some of the misadventures with their last 2 meetings with the Bulldogs, they're coming together, but they still have a step or two to reach the upper echelon, the short list of contenders. They've got a solid group. I think next year we'll be building on that chemistry like we have seen out of the Bulldogs, who were in their position a year ago. No whistle. We're going to play on. No, yes. I was looking at the clock. Armonte Henry with the easiest layup all night. He pulled off a move that you often see in football among attentive players. If they don't hear the whistle, play on. Henry got the steal. There was no whistle. He recognized it and said, all right, I'll take it to the cup. Offensive rebound and the putback for the Avengers. Rashard Harris, I believe, scoring on that play. And that makes it 83-61. Rainey. Along the corner. Trying to dribble drive his way through his defender. Can't get the finger roll. A little strong. Avengers hustling down court again. Rashard Zimmerman will go to the line for the first time. Everyone has seen floor time for the Avengers. And everyone has been chipping in. They've been spreading it around quite well. Zimmerman with 5 points. Of course, if you're watching this on the TSB Television YouTube channel, we'll see the Avengers again. They'll have a few hours to recover. One of those back-to-backs that is reminiscent at the high school level. You play a night game and then the quick turnaround for a day game. Split at the line, Avengers 21 of 25. Henry lost it. Al Haig snatches it back. Rainey for 3. Bullseye. Rainey with his first field goal of the third. He's at 16, called for the foul. Broncos had 2 to give on Jamal Edwards. Now the Broncos crowding up the key. And the Avengers find another open 3. Weak side O-board for McKinney. And the layup off Renning. Dishes it to Rainey, draws the foul, he'll shoot 2. With 3:37 to go. Rainey split his last time at the line. And there are a few other factors at play, but if you're the Broncos, you want to be turning some of these misses into makes, as Rainey is doing. Some of the Bulldogs crew heading out after getting their scouting in for tonight. Broncos were calling out for the back door. Now the Avengers pinched in the right corner. They swing it back to the middle. Now they go inside. Off-running fouls Michael Jackson. Michael will shoot 2. Jackson first trip to the free throw line. And he's perfect. The Avengers shooting in the 80s. Shot clock did not start. What began in September has now entered its final month. And we have just a couple more regular season weekends. We will keep an eye out for possible playoff coverage. Hoff-Renning comes up short. I believe the first round that we would cover would potentially be Valentine's Day. We'll have to see. Clock was running again, so the Avengers had to run, and they get called for the offensive foul. 2:28 left in the third. But they do lead by 25. It hasn't been a blowout third quarter. And they have to get the shot clock reset again. Gary holding the fort. He is the coordinator. 88-65. That last basket was inadvertently added. It was an offensive foul, though, so the score is correct, 88-65. Not 90-65. Either way, for the Avengers, they haven't thrown down a big run per se. They've just made a few more plays, and they've been a lot more heady at the free throw line. They're shooting in the 80s, the Broncos 6-12, mid-80s to 50%. And then Moreland missing the layup. You can't afford that. Hoffrenning throws up another lengthy wall. Rainey steps into the three off the back heel. Hoffrenning trying to get the foul call, but Rainey able to make the interception and take it in for two. Solid quarter for Rashad Rainey, but the Broncos, they're going to need to channel another run, another surge, if they want to rally and knock off an undefeated. Three on the way, long, rebound, Ochan. Reggie Rogers watching from the bench. Turnover, Avengers, that's a foul. And an intentional one at that. That will go against Moreland, who wrapped up McKinney. Most of you know I am not an expert at officiating, but I think most of you would concur. So McKinney makes the free throw. He'll get another one. Remember, it's an intentional foul. So 2 shots and the ball. Just like the high school level that we so frequently cover. So McKinney goes up to 9. The Avengers now 25 of 30. They are shooting roughly 87% from the free throw line. Five on the shot clock. Cross-court skip. A three, it's there. For Nigel Ward, that is a back-breaking sequence. They call it a 2, 92-67. We'll see if that holds up. Maybe Ward was in front of the line. Either way, a big bucket. Ochan gets the friendly roll. Approaching 30 seconds to go. 3-ball, corner pocket. Ward again. They ruled this one a 3. 95-69. So Ward, who hadn't scored all game, with a couple of quick buckets. Hoffrenning follows and tips it in. That's his first bucket of the third. Time for the Avengers to hit one more 3. No, but still a good third quarter for the undefeated Michigan Avengers, who now lead 95-71 with one more quarter to go. And unless the Broncos can channel a major comeback, it would seem we'll get the battle of undefeateds and a huge regular season showdown.
It's more than just BBQ, it's family time. Ella's Smoke Till Ya Choke. Perfect for your Saturday.
When the high school season is over, TSP Television goes on the highlight trail. Our highlight reels provide you with a valuable resource for recruiters and a keepsake of your favorite athlete. To learn more about our highlight reel services, contact us at tsptelevision@gmail.com.
We've reached the fourth quarter, and as we were saying, that battle of undefeateds, that would be between the Bulldogs and the Avengers. It looks like we are headed for that showdown if the Broncos can't construct a furious rally. Decoy Hines looking to start one, but his three is short. And Justin McKinney hampered from behind. Rogers on the other end takes the outlet and takes it in. Reggie Rogers with 5. Broncos again, they're going to need a lot to go their way. Well, not a bad try from Hines. His foot was on the line. Again, free throw shooting, huge discrepancy in favor of the Avengers, 25 of 30. Broncos 6 of 12. Roughly 87% to 50%. Fading away was Edwards, but the Broncos could not field the rebound in the field of play. So the Avengers will get a dead ball offensive rebound. And Nigel Ward feeling it from three-point range. Hadn't scored until the last minute of the third. He's racked up a quick 8. And the Avengers, once again, illuminating their illustrious offensive capabilities. Thomas inside, gets the bunny to drop. His second field goal of the day. Oh boy. Foul was called. The shot clock had not reset properly. It wouldn't have been a violation, but Nigel Ward will shoot 3 free throws. And how are the Avengers doing it? Balance, depth. They don't have just one monster. They have a monstrous contingent, conglomerate. Ward now becomes the 5th Michigan player to reach double digits. And we apparently have broken the scoreboard. It should be 101 to 75. They've got a 1 on the board, but we know it's a 101. We're going to have to keep track as best we can, though. Thomas can't get the layup to go. Avengers, can they secure it? No. I don't think I've ever seen that. Maybe once. The officials are going to try to get this sorted out. How did that happen? And I ask this because I've never worked with a Daktronics board. Crazy, I know. I just talk for a living. It doesn't look like they can address it, so we'll just have to remember that is 101, not a 1, as Thomas comes up strong after the spin move. Oh, I thought the Avengers nearly threw it away. Well, they did throw it away. Broncos pressure getting to them that time, but they trail 101 to 75. Dribble drive, too strong. And the Broncos just not finding the English they need. Bounce pass. Another 3 for Ward. Bullseye. 104-75, Nigel Ward, 14 points. After failing to score in the first 2.5 quarters, Thomas fouled underneath. He'll shoot 2. But it looks like the Avengers have this one locked up. Five players in double digits. Ryan Aaron leads with 19. He only scored once in the third. And the Broncos, this has to be tough, especially playing as close as they did with the Bulldogs twice. Building up big leads, but couldn't sustain them. Thomas will split at the line. And again, those are the elements, the attributes, the intangibles that this team will work on over time. A fake from the corner. Reverse doesn't go down. Hines eventually corrals the rebound. Rogers, under duress, finds Hines. And a foul called on Jamal Edwards. I'm curious what the crowd would look like tomorrow for the Bulldogs Avengers battle of undefeated teams, because it's going to be taking place right around church hour. Rashad Rainey drills a 3. He's got 23. Good game for him. It just isn't coming with enough support elsewhere. There's a fake, but the Avengers, more often than not. Uh-oh. Rogers took an awkward fall as he collided with an Avengers player on the fake. He will sub out. Hoffrening will take his... No! Rogers will stay in. Inbound alley-oop. That is the one sore spot for the Avengers. If you want to nitpick, it's the alley-oops. Rainey can't hit the 3. Dead ball rebound to the Avengers. 104-79. 25-point margin. Ward, I guess he is human. Broncos will let it bounce out for a dead ball rebound. 8:35 on the clock. Rainey draws the foul and nails the baseline jumper. Rainey, he will not give up. But the Broncos still need a few things to go their way. It's 104-81. A three-point play can go a long way. Broncos 8 of 15. Now they're trying to get more aggressive with their defense. In a 2-1-2, Chu comes out to double. Broncos, now the Avengers going cross court. And once again, Tyron Jackson this time sinks a 3. Big bucket after big bucket. Hoffrening looking for the answer, short this time. Rogers saves it. Hoffrening fouled. And that is the last to give for the Avengers. I was going to say the Broncos have given up a lot of those cross courts that lead to open threes or slashing lanes. But as we've seen from the Avengers, this is an offensively sound team, even though they're not at full capacity. Ball knocked out, goes back to Henry, dumps it to Rogers, who gets the roll. Reggie Rogers with 7. Henry with the dime. Avengers get through the press up top, but only for a moment. The Broncos don't have a great chance, but if they can get... Ooh, that was a foul. Who's it on? That is on Nigel Ward. Remember, Broncos in the bonus the rest of the way. You would need to get... So the first free throw doesn't count. Rogers hadn't set himself up. Rogers was not in position at the free throw line. So just the one free throw here for Hofreding. I've never seen that before. Typically, they don't pay much mind to it as the Avengers slip another pass down low for Nigel Ward, who now has 16 points in about 5.5 minutes of play. Rogers for 3, bullseye. Well, that'll make up for that slip up earlier, but the Broncos, they would need to get this to within 10. Henry with the takeaway. Rainey with the layup. 109-91. Again, the Broncos, they would need to get this to about 10, I would think, with about 3-4 minutes to go to have a real chance at this. We saw the Bulldogs do it 2 weeks ago on this very floor. Coming back from 13 down. 3 is short. That's what you want if you're the Broncos. No second chances. And Hofreding zips in another fast break score. 109-93. Banking in the triple is Tyron Jackson. 17 off the bench. 112-93. And now the Avengers swarming. Hofreding called for the foul. Now I know some of you are going, well, that doesn't sound like the most impressive bucket when the Avengers are up big. But the Broncos were teasing, flirting with a run. And so you don't necessarily have to put up a ton of points. You just need to keep your opponent at bay. You don't want a rally to snowball. Ward, harassed down low, kicks back out. Ward tries again with one-on-one coverage. Goes over Hofreding, gets the friendly bounce. And Nigel Ward, in the last 6.5 minutes of game time, has scored 18 points. Henry, his three's long. Rogers picks it up. Henry will try once more. Off the front of the iron. One-on-one. It's Tyron Jackson. Can he step through? Rainey, no. Rainey touched it, so no travel. Henry comes up with the rock and draws the foul on Jackson. Well, that will give the Broncos a chance to score with the clock stopped, but I'm not sure. 114-93. Trailing by 21 with this little time left. That's a tall task. The Broncos trying to kindle, ignite a spark, and they might look at this and say perhaps we got going a little too late, but they're still in the thick of it for playoff seeding. They'll still be a game above 500. and they still have a few chances, including a game with Strictly Business where they could pick up another signature win. There's another dump down. Again, the Avengers, it hasn't been completely flawless, but they have executed more often than not. Rainey for three. Off the rim, Hoffrenning tips the rebound to himself, tries the reverse. Couldn't get the reach. That's always tough when you're underneath the basket like that. And the Avengers looking to flex their fast break muscle once more. Can't quite do it. And navigating traffic, at least enough to get to the free throw line, is Richard Zimmerman. So Zimmerman goes to the line. As we are roughly in stat padding time. Zimmerman will take a split. Avengers now 29 of 35. Henry couldn't get open on the fake. Gave up the dribble, so had to skip it over to Rainey. He'll try again from the elbow. No. And the Avengers putting some icing on the cake. It took them long enough, but Zimmerman finally completes an alley-oop to Tyron Jackson. And that's not what you want to do this late in the game. Let's commit a silly foul. You have the game won. But you don't want to commit a silly foul like that. Rainey is good to go for these free throws. The bright spot for the Broncos tonight, closing in on 30. But I'm looking at the scoreline for the Avengers. You could not get any more balanced as Rainey takes the split. That will put him at 29 points. And the Broncos still at 50%, 10 of 20. The Avengers, 29 of 35. That's about 82%. Can they get three more? You bet they will. Richard Zimmerman now becomes the sixth Michigan player to reach double figures. The runner won't go down. Hoffrenning with the putback, 23 points. Good game for him as we have a drive that goes awry for Tyron Jackson. And Reggie Rogers adds a little flair on that reverse to complete the fast break play. 122.98, but not enough time. But this is insane when I read these numbers for the Avengers. 3-ball corner pocket. Richard Zimmerman, 15 points. Tyron Jackson, 17. Nigel Ward, 18. Those three coming off the bench. Rashard Harris, 16. Xavion Goodwin, 15. Ryan Aaron, 19. You don't get such perfectly balanced distribution like that as Rashad Rainey does break 30 with that corner triple. And the Avengers looking for the alley-oop again. I'm not sure who that was off of last. It looks like it will stay with the Avengers. I thought it went off of them. Abe says no. Well, that's why he's here. Avengers looking for another three. Hoffrenning gets the rebound over to Chu. Rainey bounces to Rogers, and the Avengers don't get back on defense quickly enough. 125-103. All right, the scoreboard is affecting both sides. 3-ball long, 2:20 to go. Hoffrenning nearly had that one intercepted. Rainey says, I'll take a 3. It comes up long. 125-103 is the score, even though the scoreboard reads 25-3. Now 127 as Tyron Jackson races in for the slam and becomes the first Michigan player to get to 20. 21 to be precise. A wire-to-wire win. This one was close for a while, but the Avengers slowly pulled away. Built up a sizable lead at the end of the third and really just kept the Broncos from stringing too many buckets consecutively. Rainey gets a couple more. A lot of talking taking place during that trip. Rainey knocks down both. That gives him 34. $127-105. And get ready for the big showdown. The Avengers will face the Bulldogs with a 10-0 mark. The Broncos will fall to 6-5. As we wrap up this Saturday night contest to ring in the new calendar year. We hope everyone enjoyed their holidays. We took the holiday break off to get caught up on some other work. Eric Chu almost ran into the official, and now the Avengers are in showtime mode. Hoffrenning misses the dunk. The ending could use a little more polish. The shot clock, there we go. Ending could use a little more polish, but the Avengers did more than enough. Another 3, another swish for Jamal Edwards. He probably won't get to double digits, but just another reminder of the balance and depth as Rogers left alone. Hoffrenning will tip in the putback. That'll give him 25. The Avengers, what are they doing? I guess they'll let this one expire. Running clock, and the Avengers happy to call this one. Rogers takes another 3. The Avengers said, I think we're good. We don't need to pour it on any more than we already have. And they will finish with another offensive close to masterclass, 130-109. They did let off the gas at the end of the game, but they are saving their energies for that big showdown with the the Bulldogs, I should say, tomorrow at noon over at the High School for Recording Arts. We'll wrap it up with this. 21 from Tyron Jackson to lead the Broncos. 19 from Ryan Aaron. 18 Nigel Ward. 16 Rashard Harris. There's a lot to like on the Avengers side. Unofficially, Rashad Rainey leads the Broncos with 34 points. Matthew Hoffrenning with 25. Al Haig finishes with 16. That'll do it from the St. Paul Citadel Core, the Salvation Army Gym. 130-109. The Avengers go to 10-0 on this edition of NBL Basketball on TSB Television. We'll see you next time